The sea ecosystem is pretty diverse, with enough species than we wish we could count, but we at least know more than a dozen thanks to the work of dedicated scientists over the years. While some of these species are well known, others aren't so common, and they are the subject of our video today. Unless you have a special interest in marine biology, we can bet you've never heard of the following amazing sea creatures. Number 10. Hooded nudibranch. This aquatic mollusk is common on the eastern side of the Pacific Ocean, where it inhabits water plants, especially seagrass and kelp, and it's a pretty interesting species for an animal. It has a translucent body that is either colorless, pale yellow, or green. Obviously, with such coloration, this tiny animal is almost invisible to the casual onlooker. This might play an important role in hunting, as unsuspecting potential prey can swim close enough without suspecting any danger. Potential prey here includes various larvae and planktonic invertebrates such as copepods and ostracods. To catch prey, the hooded nudibranch depends on its expandable oral hood lined with hair-like structures called cirri. When prey lands on the oral hood, it closes and the cirri interlock to prevent escape, a process that takes a maximum of 4 seconds. Feeding time varies between adults and young ones. When in development, a hooded nudibranch can feed during both the day and night, but in adulthood, feeding is pushed to nighttime only. The species is termed as a simultaneous hermaphrodite, meaning it bears both male and female reproductive organs found on one side of the body. They undergo initial fertilization and can lay as much as 30,000 eggs at a go. Number 9. Dumbo Octopus. The Dumbo Octopuses are a genus of 13 species named after the 1941 Disney film Dumbo. Studying the genus has been tough on scientists as the octopuses aren't so widely spread. That's why some of the species were once classified under a different genera before they were moved here. The same way, other species had also been wrongly classified as Dumbo octopuses, but have since been struck off. Generally, there is a confusion which can be attributed to the rarity of these octopuses, and their deep sea habitat doesn't help either. Dumbo octopuses live from 1,000 to 7,000 meters below the ocean surface around the world. While their numbers are limited, their distribution is not. They've been found off lots of coasts, including the Gulf of Mexico, Oregon, and New Zealand. The most conspicuous feature of all Dumbo octopuses is their prominent fin that emerges just above the eye on either side of the head. In most marine animals, the fin would have been the main part as far as locomotion was concerned. But in this octopus, the fins are just for stabilization. Movement is created by a siphon mechanism that pushes water to the back of the animal. Number 8. Helmet jellyfish. This jellyfish can be found in every ocean around the world and a few other water bodies such as the Mediterranean Sea and the Norwegian fjords. It spends most of its time in the depths of the ocean, typically up to 7,000 meters below the surface, but it doesn't remain submerged for its entire life. At night, it swims upwards to hunt zooplankton, its main source of food. After gorging itself, it swims back down to wait to the next feeding round. So why wouldn't they feed during the day when the sun's out? It's not clear yet, but these deep sea dwellers don't seem to cherish the idea of light. They probably stay away from feeding for this reason, but they don't live in perpetual darkness. Helmet jellyfish are bioluminescent, which means they can light themselves up, their red bodies glowing in the almost tangible ocean darkness. The glows are thought to be a means of communication between these creatures. One interesting fact about helmet jellyfish is how they position their tentacles. While the regular jellyfish swims with its tentacles trailing behind it, the helmet jellyfish holds its stinging parts in front. That way it picks up prey as it goes. Number 7. Pink see-through Fantasia. The pink see-through Fantasia is a genus of the deep sea cucumber. The Spanish dancer, headless chickenfish, swimming sea cucumber, and headless chicken monster are also names that the members of this genus have been given. The species have quite an intriguing appearance, which is reflected in their name, see-through Fantasia. They are semi-transparent, and after they've just had a meal, their intestines can easily be seen. Their color is not so much fixed, contrary to what the name might suggest. The appearance is dependent on the size, with the pink being most pronounced among small individuals. Larger swimming sea cucumbers, on the other hand, are reddish-brown. There are also a few bioluminescent species. While they stay just above the seafloor, these transparent sea cucumbers swim up once in a while. Well, not all the way to the surface, but for just about 1,000 meters. According to scientists, the cucumbers do this to scout for new feeding grounds and escape from predators. Number 6. Handfish. One prominent feature in fish is their fins, which they use as a means of propulsion. But the handfish are different. While they still have fins, theirs are modified into hand-like structures that they use to walk on the ocean floor instead of swimming. The modified fins look more like hands, and that's what both their common name, handfish, and their scientific name are based on. These fish are found off the Australian coast, particularly to the south and east. Still in the Australian territory, they're also abundant around the island state of Tasmania. Generally, handfish are pretty limited in distribution and occur in small population sizes. This has made them highly vulnerable to interference either by human activity or otherwise. As such, some species have been listed as critically endangered. One species in particular was recently declared extinct, the first modern-day marine fish species to meet such a fate. The limited numbers have also made studying these fish a bit impossible, and that means so little is known about them except for general properties like movement and size. They grow to around 15 centimeters long and move slowly with their characteristic hand-like pectoral fins. Number 5. Comb jellies. These are the largest animals to ever use cilia to move. The name doesn't refer to a single animal though. This is a whole phylum called Ctenophore that lives in pretty much every ocean across the world, including the 2 poles. They also don't discriminate much when it comes to depth. Some thrive just fine near the surface, while others still find solace deep down in the oceans. This variation is only natural since we're talking of so many species here. To date, scientists have been able to properly describe approximately 150 species under this phylum. Over 20 others have been identified but are yet to be properly named. The sizes also vary widely from as little as a few millimeters to more than a meter. And while comb jellies are most distinguishable due to the presence of cilia as mentioned earlier, some are devoid of them, like the flat-bodied Platyctonida. These are the species you're most likely to encounter on the ocean floor since they cannot swim. They crawl the ocean floor with their mouth down, probably in the hopes of capturing prey. Number 4. Leafy Sea Dragon. For its appearance, the leafy sea dragon can easily pass off as a twig, except it isn't. It's a fish, and its uncanny resemblance to a plant is handy in fooling would-be predators. But it doesn't get around predators by its appearance alone. The way it moves also gives the illusion of floating seaweed thanks to the almost invisible fins close to its tail and on the ridge of its neck. If need be, the leafy sea dragon can also change its color to blend in with its surroundings. Whether this will be successful or not depends on a host of factors such as the diet, age, stress level, and location. The diet is usually made up of plankton and small crustaceans such as shrimp and amphipods. Leafy sea dragons live alone, only pairing up to reproduce. The female deposits the eggs on the male's tails, who carry them for up to 9 weeks when they hatch. In this time, over 95% of the eggs will be destroyed. The young ones become independent as soon as they're hatched and immediately start feasting on zooplankton until they're large enough to go after big crustacean prey. Number 3. Christmas tree worms. Typically, Christmas tree worms inhabit the tropical oceans where they embed themselves in the heads of massive corals. Here, they release a tubular secretion around their bodies that houses and protects them. The worms are a sedentary lot, and so they cannot actively look for food, but thanks to filter feeding, they can still get their fill of required nutrients. Using their brightly colored radioles, the Christmas tree worms filter out microorganisms from the ocean water and immediately begin the digestion process. And it's the same radioles that have made these worms particularly desirable to both divers and marine aquarists. Who wouldn't want such colors? For divers, the worms offer the perfect picturesque setting for those underwater shots. Aquarists, on the other hand, get the attractive ambience that comes with vibrant colors.
Now it's time for today's best pick.
Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber, so if you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even be able to feature it in a video. Number 2. Ribbon eel. The ribbon eel is a species of the moray eel and has a wide range of habitats stretching between East Africa and Japan. They are brightly colored creatures, as evidenced in this photo, but that isn't one of their most distinguishing features. Ribbon eels are most recognizable by their jaws that they love opening when approached by a diver. A scaring tactic? No idea. There isn't any information on the purpose this gesture is supposed to serve. Moving on, scientists speculate that these seemingly rare creatures are all born male and change to female later on, a condition called protandry. This crossover is marked by another major change in the ribbon eel's appearance. You can easily tell apart the male from the female by observing their colors. Male ribbon eels are usually blue. Females, on the other hand, can either be entirely yellow or have the yellow broken down with a bit of blue to the posterior. That's for adults. Young eels are black and spot yellow on their dorsal fins. While you may have never heard of it, the ribbon eel is quite the rave in the aquarium industry, obviously due to its bright color. But most of them hardly live beyond a month in captivity, so keeping them might not be so good of an idea. Number 1. Japanese spider crab. Just as the name indicates, the Japanese spider crab dwells in the waters around Japan. And while it might not be so common to the average guy, it's a delicacy, not just in Japan, but also in other areas around it. They're pretty big, which probably makes them the perfect delicacy for crab lovers. They have a leg span of about 3.7 meters, the largest so far among arthropods. The width, on the other hand, can reach about 40 centimeters, and these gigantic crabs can weigh in at 19 kilograms. At that weight, the Japanese spider crab ranks second among arthropods, dwarfed only by the American lobster. To protect against predators such as octopuses, these crabs have armored exoskeletons, but the precautions don't end at that. The exoskeleton is bumpy in nature, which helps the crabs to blend in with the rocky ocean floor. But still, the crabs don't take chances with regards to staying elusive to predators. They cover themselves with seafloor matter and even other organisms just to remain unnoticeable.